What's going on today, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day. I know that I am, because we're getting one step closer on getting these headlights done. So I've gone ahead and I've done a couple things in the background, gone ahead and basically painted it and finished fiberglassing as much as I could, and then I got the holes cut for the actual LED drivers. So I'll catch you up with on some stuff that I got done, and we'll go from there. Let's hopefully get these things done. I think I still have to figure out the turn signal, but I've got most of the stuff kind of sorted out and ready to go. So let's go over what we've got done. First things first, the biggest appearance difference is now everything is black. So I've gone ahead, painted all of the fiberglass and everything, got that painted. I have a little piece right there that needs painted, but I've gone ahead and painted everything, as well as put the LED drivers on the bottom. I've got some makeshift templates. I need to reinforce them. Like this one's just kind of hanging off. That one's got a bracket that's bridging. So there's some stuff still left to do to finalize that and make it all proper. I've done the same thing on the other one. Got them ready. The passenger side one, yet again, problemsome, because where I have this, that bar was in the way. So I gone ahead and basically smashed it down so that bar was out of the way. Now we've got clearance for everything. Everything should be good to go, and that housing should be fine for everything that we need to. We got some reinforcing to do, but that's pretty minor stuff. Now, the cool stuff is I've gone ahead and actually pretty much finished up the light part of it. So if we pull these guys out, I've gone ahead and painted the shrouds around all of them. I've painted what I've got done. My brackets, or not brackets, my block off plates that I've made have all been painted. And I've also gone ahead and done something else that's super, super cool. So for this, we have to have the lights off, but if we go in on our phone and we can turn on our lights, and we can have it do lots of different things. We can scroll through and do a bunch of different colors. But we've got our demon eyes set up. Now with that, get the array of all of them. Now that's super awesome. We've got lots of different options that we can choose from, different lighting, different styles. We can choose kind of whatever we want. We can have one color, we can have lots of colors, but that's the demon eye setup. So let's go ahead, I'll take one apart and I'll show you how I kind of managed to get that to work and how it's lighting up the whole lens there. So let's get to that. We'll turn the lights back on. So here they are with the lights on. It's kind of not true because the housing's going to be dark, so it's going to have a lot more prominent effect, and it'll look a lot better. There is still lights, you still can see them, they run through everything, but in the daytime, just like any other light, they're not going to work quite as great, especially being LEDs and low power LEDs. It kind of is what it is. So let's go ahead. I'll run through these demon eyes real quick and how I got them set up. So here's the basic premise of the kit. It comes a little bit different than this because I've gone ahead and hacked some things up. So it comes with this diffuser, and the LEDs are actually inside there. So this LED strip is actually running inside of here. I've gone ahead, removed the hot glue, and then remove the LEDs so I could actually utilize the LEDs. Now these are RGB LEDs, so they're pretty much color selected. Whatever color you want, you can get. And this was one side, so I used actually only one side, but I needed the driver, and I needed the leads, and I think that's really it that I needed. I really needed the driver to drive everything, to kind of make it all happen. So normally you have your power and ground for LEDs, but with this one it takes a driver. So this yellow one is actually a driver data signal. So that tells you which one you're actually, which color you're trying to get to. So got those. What I went ahead and did is cut them all into their segments. So you can cut them into 3. So those 3 segments then can be molded together. So each LED then has 3 LEDs, one of these kits basically on here that's glued to the top. Now, I don't know, you might be able to see it if we... Yeah, you can kind of see them up in there. So there's the LEDs. They're glued into the top of this housing. So this housing holds all the LEDs right up top, right above the glass. They're all soldered together. And then they come out to a pigtail right here that will connect to the connectors. Let's connect to the board, which is connect to the car to get power. So we've got that stuff going on. We've got all these cut for each LED. So that's what's allowing us to power or drive our LEDs to get us to the color that we need. And then the app is just their standard app that they give you. It is what it is. It's a clunky kind of an app, but it works. I mean, I'm honestly probably only going to do one color, so it works good enough for me. If you're doing show mode stuff, maybe a little bit higher quality kit, but if this doesn't work, it's easy enough to fix. And I mean, it's easy enough for me to pull the LEDs out or switch the driver, because that's a lot of what is clunky is the Bluetooth connection to the phone is what's clunky. So that being said, it is what it is. It's the kit that I got. It was a cheap one off of Amazon, so we did it. I got ahead and took the power cable off because I don't like how it did the power. So with that, I've gone ahead and removed the box, which is probably better that I did because it's not weatherproofed. I need it to be weatherproof since it's in the car. So we'll go ahead and probably put this in some silicone or something to kind of make it weatherproof. That way the board stays intact and it doesn't matter if it gets wet. Gonna wash the car, gonna drive in the rain eventually, so it is what it is. Took the power cable off, desoldered it, soldered it. I'm gonna solder in my own wires so that way they can just go straight to a fuse box. That fuse box will turn on with the accessories, and then it'll just kind of turn on with accessories, or I can have it, maybe I'll have it on all the time. I don't know which one I'm gonna do yet. It would be kind of nice to have the car off and then be able to turn these on, but we shall see. So I've gone ahead, removed this, played with this a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty much the same as factory, other than everything's different. Now, I said I wasn't going to take these apart to myself because I didn't want to risk breaking them, but it's best to let you guys kind of see how I did it, how I went about it. If I was watching a video, I would want to see how they did it and not just get told, yeah, you just do it. So I'm going to go ahead, we'll take this one side off. It's the exact mirror opposite on the other one, but we'll take this one off and I'll show you what the LEDs are kind of doing and how I have things set up. So 2 screws on top, 2 pins on the bottom, and it comes right out. So there we go, that whole system's off now, and you can get to see where the LEDs are actually hiding out at. Since I had this front piece, the gray or the silver piece, I had that off already to paint it. While I was in there, I went ahead and did all the LEDs up. So I started actually on this end with, 4 LEDs that look like this. I just tied them onto one side, got them up tucked in tight on the corners, super glued them in real quick, and then ran the wire over, super glued the wire down so the wire stays, and just soldered that one in. Actually, I super glued them all in and then went and soldered all at once, nice and even. But putting them all on one side made it easy for putting each one in, because all the reds are on top on this one, all the blacks are on top on that one, exact opposite. So that made soldering and kind of figuring out where wires go super easy. The end one is bent over and glued, but that one has the connector to it. So that one gets where all the power goes. So that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. So I only have 5 segments versus the 15 that it actually came with. So with the app, you have to slow things down because there's 5 instead of 15, but it works out great for me. So there we go. We've got all the LEDs, all their connections, kind of glued up to the top, and all they do is just hang out up top. And I can show you. We might as well hook that up and show what the LEDs look like and go from there. I had a comment say, you really need to make a bench testing system for this. And yes, you're not wrong, but I don't have the time nor the patience to build me a bench testing setup, at least at this point. Definitely might make one in the future, but for right now, we're gonna go ahead and work with our sweet 9-volt battery jumper cable system setup. So I've got it hooked up to 9 volts. It gives it just enough power to power the LEDs and not blow anything up. Sorry, whoever commented that. It is what it is at this point. Future, definitely future, but for right now, this works. There we can see all the LEDs are working. We've hooked up to our sweet 9-volt battery jumper system. The LEDs are up on top. They all have their colors going to them. Right now it's on reverse, so it's starting from here and going this way. But those shine down actually on this little flat spot right here. So they shine on the flat spot. That flat spot disperses all the light through. And it goes through all of them. That's how we're getting the light into the actual lens part. So they're shining straight down. I wanted to go underneath, but it kind of wasn't working out. I wanted to go actually on top of here and bridge across here. But that works out perfect. Let's see if I can find this one. It works out perfect to where the contacts fit in there, like the LEDs fit between the two, but the contacts sit on metal. And couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. Found out it's metal. It's conducting against itself, so it actually burnt out some LEDs. Learned the hard way. Don't put it right there. Put it on the plastic part. So it's literally shining down like that across all these bulbs, and that's how it's getting the light to them. Well, we'll get to the actual the nerve-wracking, scary part of this, and let's put these back together as much as we can. Now, everything's kind of been custom. Clearances have kind of been custom. Things have worked before we painted everything, so fingers crossed, but let's go ahead. I mean, there's no time like the present. Let's go ahead, put these things together, and let's see if they actually fit with all of the customization that we've got going on. And then we'll figure out how to get the turn signals in there, because I still got to put stuff in there. There's no turn signal on it, so that's a very important part that we still need to figure out. Right now, this is what we got, this is what we're doing, so let's figure this out. Put these together. Well, it's looking like I need to trim some fat. So this is for the turn signal. This whole thing is for the turn signal system, I think, and part of the daytime running lights for the turn signal. But I don't need it anymore, and now it's just hanging out. With that, it's all of this. So this all can go away. I was trying to do it elegantly and depin everything, but that didn't work out. So we're going to do the next best thing. There we go. Now it's depinned. So now we've got our short jumper that is actually for the headlights, everything that we need, and we'll put that bad boy in there. Wow, these things are starting to look really sick, and the lens is on there. I went to test them out, and our quick modification of cleaning things up has made more of an issue. So let's see if I can find the wire. These wires right here, these two black ones, are connected together up in here, and they're basically grounding each other out. Well, that's doing a, I guess, check system, and it caused the high beams to not work. So as frustrated as I was with those high beams, it's that little ground, and I'll pull it out and remade this jumper, but I cut all these wires and I still needed one of the grounds to go through. So we'll pull this one apart and I'll show you what we're talking about. So now that the wrapping stuff's off of it, here's what the new one looks like. This wire that we cut off, that was a ground, common ground, going up to, so here's the one that I cut right here, and here's the one that was connected to this module. So the ground needs to touch together. So this ground needs to be actually up by this white one here. Let's see if I can get it open. So there is a ground right there, the very top one, the third pin in. That needs to be grounded to this wire that's hanging out. Otherwise, the high beams don't work. And it's a great time, and lots of words were said. It's really nice that these things are kind of smart so they don't destroy themselves, but it's also at the same time very, very frustrating because it has a bunch of redundancy systems to make sure that it's not going to burn itself up. So the good and the bad. It seems to be every time I have a problem with these high beams, it's a grounding issue. I have some sort of grounding issue. Well, I guess the one was we had a power issue. We didn't ground the daytime running lights. So be careful. Yes, double check before you start cutting things up. So before you cut it up, check it out. If it's grounded to something else, leave it grounded to something else. What I should have done is before I cut this off, I should have cut it up top because they're actually connected. Here I'll actually undo this black so you can actually see. There we go. Emitting all these colorful wires. Those all are for the turn signal. Now these wires, this one used to be connected right here, and then this one used to be connected at this plug at that third from the top. And what I should have done is just cut it right behind this splice. Because apparently it needs to have this connection to run through for checks. So this is how it's checking to make sure that everything is grounded, no open circuits. So right now it's saying it's got an open circuit, there's no ground, so it's not connecting. So all we got to do is connect this wire to that third from the top on the white side. That third from the right side on the top, that's the one we need to connect to. So learn from my mistake. You don't have to solder anything. Just cut it above this joint and you'll be fine. Then you tape it all up and have it nice and tidy in there. I was silly and cut this at the wrong spot, so now I get extra work to do. But we figured it out. There it is. We're all connected back up. The black wire is connected now to that top one. I got heat shrink on this side because I kind of got it solder exposed and there's a bunch of extra wires, so kind of put as best I could heat shrink around there, heat shrink around this connection, and I made it long so that if it was pulled, that wasn't the one that's feeling all the tension. The other ones are feeling the tension because that's barely on this side because there's not much of a nubbin to really solder onto. So I just did the best I can. Now I'm going to go ahead, wrap it up so it's nice and pretty like that one, and toss it back in the headlights. Well, I hate to say it, but I think I've had enough excitement for one day. That high beam issue again really stressed me out and bugged me. But we got it fixed, we got it mended, we got to plan forward. I was really wanting to put these together as much as I could and see what it looks like, but I got to figure out the demon eyes, how to get them through the housing, how to weatherproof that connector. I got to get the turn signals sorted out. I got to figure out how to get the turn signals through the headlight, through the back of the housing so I can plug it in. I still have a lot of stuff to do. I really, before I even start doing that stuff, I need to get these mounting brackets for this guy. These need to be stable because that's not going to last long. I hit one bump and there's probably enough mass there. It's probably going to fall off. So I should do the adult thing and actually make sure that that's proper before I start putting stuff all the way together. Plus I got to paint that bottom. It's going to irritate me. So before I put stuff together and finish it, I need to finish working the housing. I think that has to happen before I get too excited. I want to see him on the car real bad, which I did. I got to see him for a little bit, but the high beams didn't work, so I didn't record it, of course, and I got irritated and pulled it all apart and tried to figure it out. So thank you guys for sticking with me this long. If you've been through this build and you're still with me, please give it a big thumbs up. That helps me out. That lets me know that you guys still are around. You're hanging out. You like what we're doing here. The other thing is, don't cut the ground wires that are secondary or redundancy ground wires. Learn that lesson. If you guys are doing this, please leave a comment below. Let people know, hey, don't be cutting that ground wire to make things pretty. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoy your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. Thanks for sticking around again. Don't forget to subscribe. And peace. Take it easy, everyone. Other than everything's different.